Hello everyone, Mege here, and in today's video we need to have a talk. During the last Warriors Den, Eric Pope asked the community to compile a list of wanted changes, or rather feedback on balance, on Reddit, so that the developers can take a look at it. This was met with somehow conflicting reactions in the community. Some are very happy and actually writing tons and tons of feedback, and others feel like they're making fun of them, since feedback has been posted on the Reddit forever. What I want to talk about today is the For Honor's dilemma. I know, it's there in the title. What I mean with that is the huge, and let me say it again, huge detachment between the casual and competitive players. Now, I could talk about 400 millisecond slides to unrockable attacks have no place in the game and all of that jazz, but honestly, there is no point. I will just make one simple example. Setmix updated tier list. Just in case you don't know, a tier list indicates the, let's say, power of a hero in the meta at competitive high level. So, what if I told you that Setmix and everyone who helped him, namely other competitive players, since Setmix doesn't make the list on his own, but he actually asks for opinion of other players? What if I told you that he thinks Orochi in duels isn't even top 10? And what if I told you that he thinks Jang Jun is worse than Peacekeeper? And just in case you don't believe me, I'll leave a link to it in the description below, but it's always been there in the sidebar of the competitive subreddit. So, speaking of detachment, in this example, when confronted with this tier list, there is basically two ways you can answer to it, and by you I mean any member in the For Honor community. And I'm not talking about agreeing, disagreeing, or agreeing on just something. I'm talking about understanding and having the willingness to accept that someone knows the game better than you do. Me, for example, I agree with Orochi, but Jang Jun destroys me. I lose to Jang Jun all the time in duels. So, normally, and this is the case for all fighting games, the top players' opinion are regarded with utmost respect. They objectively understand the game better than anyone else, arguably even the developers. So, back to the two ways you can react to this. The first one, the one we overwhelmingly see in the For Honor community, and sadly, Setmix doesn't understand anything. Jang Jun is OP, Orochi is OP, unreactable attacks have no place in For Honor, but I don't like the turtle meta. Now, these are just examples, don't take this literally, please don't start talking about 400 milliseconds attacks and Jang Jun in the comments. My point here is about the approach people have towards the competitive players. They are, again, dismissive. They don't trust them because maybe they use exploits, and mind you, I don't agree with glitches and the likes either. But again, they objectively understand the game better than everyone else. So instead of being dismissive, what we should do is trying to understand, trying to improve. When you jump into For Honor, you might think Lowbringer is OP because you never feint and he always parries everything you do for a huge damage. Ad mortem, by the way. But the more you play and the more you realize that maybe Lowbringer sucks. Why is that? Because you have improved, you have found new ways to beat Lowbringer, or you understand the game better. But sadly, this willingness to improve, this curiosity that you have when you join the game is at some point left behind. And in its place we become arrogant, too sure of ourselves, everyone else is wrong, we are closed. And not just with top players, mind you, you can just go on Reddit and see how many disagreeing there is around. This is actually something I've talked about other times, be it during streams, other videos, and one of the most common answers I get is, but Mege, if Orochi is OP at medium level, average level, whatever, then why would we listen to the top players? Or why would the developers listen to top players for balance? Because that's my point actually in this video. And the answers, while many don't really want to hear it, is fairly simple. Top players again understand the game just better than everyone else. All games are balanced around the top level of play, because under them there is this huge spectrum of different skill levels. From the noob who doesn't understand how to counter Gabrick, to the average guy who is having issues with Aramusha, to players like me who are somehow high level but still not at top level, These different people have all different problems with the game and all wish for different balance changes. It's not feasible. If the noob asks for a nerf to guard breaks because he can't counter guard break, what would you tell him? You just need to improve and get better. If the average guy who is losing to Aramusha tells you that Aramusha is OP and needs to be nerfed, you would tell him that you need to improve and get better. But again, after a while, we cannot accept for some reason that someone tells us to improve and get better, and thus we have this closed mentality. So, why did I go on this long rant today? Because of what Eric Pope asked, community feedback. It just doesn't work. There's going to be people asking for 400 milliseconds lights to be nerfed. There's going to be people asking for Aramusha to be nerfed. But don't get me wrong, I would never say that feedback is useless. It's extremely important that Ubisoft listens to all feedback from all skill levels. But ultimately, the core of the balancing changes should be done around the top level of play. Not exclusively, but around it. And while Ubi should definitely start listening more, we ourselves should start listening as well. Bottom line, what I've been always saying since my very first videos until today. Keep asking yourself, why didn't that work? And never get angry at the game. Seek improvement. Always seek improvement. Losses will happen along the way. Never let them drag you down or make you salty. Accept there are players who are better than you, and instead of looking down on them, strive to surpass them. Before finishing, I think there is an interesting topic to talk about. Why does the For Honor community behave in such a way compared to other fighting games communities? I am not saying it's black and white. Obviously the For Honor community isn't the ultimate evil and other fighting games community are so good and everyone is so friendly, not at all. But, in my opinion, there is a reason to why the For Honor community is more close-minded. Many people don't realize that For Honor is a fighting game. Even now, a lot of players don't consider it one. That's because For Honor has team mode, 4v4, 2v2. And you know what this implies? When you lose, it's always someone else's fault. Bottom lane fed the enemy Vayne, that's why I lost. This guy in my team got 0 kills and 20 deaths, that's why I lost. But in fighting games, it's not so easy. When it's just you and the opponent, and you lose, you can take it two ways. The first one, again, accept he played better, he's a better player, he has more experience, he's on a good day, I'm on a bad day, everything. But sadly, what most commonly happens is using an OP hero, this game sucks, those attacks shouldn't be in the game, etc, etc. In other words, I think the huge majority of the For Honor's community simply doesn't have the right mindset for a fighting game. I am not saying, though, that the only way to enjoy For Honor is being super serious and super competitive. The game, just like Super Smash Bros, is great and fun to play casually. However, the issue arises when the casual player wishes for his voice to be heard in a competitive environment, and I'm sure you can agree that makes zero sense. So please, rethink the way you approach the game, the way you approach For Honor. Always, always strive to improve. If you want this game to succeed, it's in your best interest. And I'm positive this detachment between the two kind of players is one of the main reasons Ubisoft is so hesitant to do balance changes. Anyway, I don't want to drag this on too much, I feel like I've been ranty enough today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and please do let me know what you think of this issue with a comment. I hope you have a good day and I'm going to see you all next time.